Welcome to Nerd Digital Brew. Web literacy. Work smarter, not harder. Find everything faster and work more efficiently. This is lesson number 1, searching strategies. So when you begin a search for resources and information for any type of project you might be going to do or any paper you want to write, where do you go and what do you do? First thing you should know is that you need to find valid sources. And the easiest way to do that is to access the databases that exist on the Smoky Valley High School Library webpage. To do so, go to our website, access menu, Library Media Center, and then slide down to where you see research databases and websites. As you can see, we have many databases, reference books, specialized topics, and other government sources that you may use to find valid research. It's the first place you should always go, and there's other good reasons why. So if you want to use a database, what is it and how does it work? Well, a database is accessible online, but what is contained there is specialized. It will have specialized content. It will be summarized. It will provide information that will be given to you, and it's always an easy place to start your research because you can narrow your content quite quickly. So once again, let's talk about one of those databases. We're going to go to Smoky Valley High School's menu, Library Media Center. We're going to go to databases. And I'm going to access Elibrary just because it's first and it's easy to use. It's going to load. And as you can see, our content is here. It's loading and it's going to take us to ProQuest. I'm going to look up the term global warming. Now I'm going to be brought newspaper articles, magazines, scholarly journals, images, books, multimedia, web sources, transcripts, and more. I can choose what is limited to either primary or scholarly articles, and I can even choose a range as far as dates and times. And if you notice, I've got a list of articles. They are summarized. They'll even tell me what kind of article each one is. So now if I actually want to look at one of those articles, I'm going to broaden my search again. I'm going to choose one of the articles, this one, and I have lots of ways to listening to this article or reading it. I can actually listen to the article. I can actually cite the article and see what format I could have my article cited in. Notice this is an MLA format, our favorite here at Smoky Valley. I can print the article, I can email it to myself, I can save it for later. I can even view related documents that have a same theme or subject matter. But these are great options when I'm finding information. Because if I'm going to find really important, valuable, and proven resources, a database is always our first choice to look. If I am not going to use a database, for whatever reason, it may not contain my content, or I may need to broaden my search outside of a database. I need to know the difference between a browser and a search engine so that I can really verify my content. First of all, a browser that's something like Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Opera. Now, folks, there are other types of browsers, but what you should know is that a browser reads something called HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, and it stores your search history. That's all it does. For all sakes and purposes, we're going to use Google Chrome at least I'm going to use that when I demonstrate concepts to you. So what I've done is I have looked up Smoky Valley High School's webpage again. And I want to show you what hypertext markup language actually looks like in a browser. Because a browser, all it does is visualize content by taking HTML and making it a visual thing, and it stores our history. So here's our web page. As you can see, I've just pulled it up. I'm going to go under Chrome, I'm going to go to View. I'm going to pull down to Developer and View Source. When I do this, I can actually see the HTML hypertext markup language behind my browser. And that's a pretty great way to look at your website, and I can also see my history. Just so you'll know, you can do this in every browser type there is. It might look a little different as how you access it, but that's all a browser does. It makes visual HTML, and it stores your history. A search engine, on the other hand, how do they work and why should I know this? Well, most of us use Google. Google's always a primary choice. It's even a verb. So we have Google, but there's other search engine types, and I'm just listing some of them here. For all sake and purposes, I'm going to use Google and how to actually use it. So when you want to find content, did you know that you can really control your search engine and make it bring you what you would like it to bring you? So let's kind of look at how a search engine works. In particular, let's look at Google. But all search engines do the following. They use something called an algorithm, which is a mathematical formula that predicts the protocol of how that search engine brings you content, and keywords, which are important words that are used to identify content within the World Wide Web. And it allows those two to mesh, and it brings you stuff. So if I were doing a broad search and I wanted to find what is the world's smelliest cheese, and I actually typed in world's smelliest cheese into my search engine, Google would assess my content, and it would pull the word smelliest and cheese out, and it would bring me results. Now here's actually a search that I did on that topic, and if you've noticed, I've got 64,100 results, and that's huge, right? Most of us, when we search, stay to a single page, or maybe a page past that. And if you notice, I've got results, I've got content. But what if you're looking for something that's more specific? What if you need specific kinds of content? Do I have time to wander and meander through 64,000 entries? And hopefully your answer is no, because that is what you need to understand to control your search engine. So each search engine uses different algorithms and prioritizes different search specifics. So for example, things like your location, your search history, and even the popularity of sites from which you are looking for can change the results you get in your search engine. But I want you to kind of realize that that's why you need to make your search engine work for you. Google doesn't necessarily try to not bring you what you need. It's just trying to help you in ways that may not be actually helpful. Well, so to summarize this lesson number 1. Where to begin your search? You should always begin with a database. If a database is not available, then you can turn to using your search engine that exists within a browser. Remember, a browser takes hypertext markup language, HTML, makes it visual, and stores your history. It's the search engine itself that actually brings you content. And a search engine uses keywords and an algorithm to do so. This is the end of lesson number 1.